Hajia Rabi Inua Hussein. Apology if I did not pronounce the name very correctly, I'm sorry. And the distinguished officials of Kano Education Research Resource Development Department, and our Executive Secretary, Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council, Abuja, in person of Professor Sadi Susheu, and the Director, Curriculum Development Center of the NERDC in Abuja, Dr. Garba Dahiru Gandu, and other staff, media personnel. My name is Jonathan Alebioshu, the Director and Head, Northwest Zonal Office, Kano, of the Nigeria Educational Research and Development Council. The Executive Secretary has come here today for a courtesy visit on the Director KERD, and also to interact with the principal officials of the department, as well as say a little more about NERDC. Nigeria Educational Research and Development Council is a grade A parastatal of the Federal Ministry of Education, and the mandate of the office, as is captured in the name, is education research and education development of the entire country. So I have the pleasure to introduce to you, Ma, and your staff, our Executive Secretary, Professor Sadi Susheu. Can we put our hands together for him?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صلى الله على النبي الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. About the Director, Kano Education Resource Department, other principal officers of the department, members of and the Director and Head of the Northwest Zonal Office, Mr. Jonathan Alebioshu, other members of staff that are here. We have Malam Isa Muhammad Wushishi, our, is it an assistant chief accountant, and then Malam Sagir. These are my media crew. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Director, on behalf of the NERDC in its entirety at the national level, and on behalf of the NERDC office located here in Kano, let me first of all thank you for offering to give us audience to come and visit the KERD with a short notice. We appreciate that sincerely. But if that tells anything, that should tell us that the NERDC, the KERD, has a friendly disposition to the NERDC. And it presents a very positive partnership and working relationship with the NERDC. We offered to come to the KERD for one important reason, and that is the fact that the KERD and the NERDC are one and the same as far as the mandate, their mandate is concerned. The only thing is the NERDC is at the national level and the KERD is at the state level. So we are conscious of the fact that at the national level, while we need to ensure that our products get down to the state level and even the local government level, and not just they come down, they get accepted and they are put into use. We cannot do that at the national level except through organs that are at the state level. And as far as the Kano education system is concerned, the KERD is the one that is directly linked to our purpose and to our mandate. I have just been appointed as the NERDC Executive Secretary. It's just about 6 months since I reported. I have just started going around to see our zonal offices, because we have 6 zonal offices, each located in the 6 geopolitical zones, and the office here in Kano represents the office of the Northwest Zone. And therefore, while coming to Kano, and I must tell you, as a homecoming, I chose Kano to be the first place out of all the zonal offices that I should visit. And I want to tell you that, of course, personally, I know, since I've been here, I know what the KERD is doing compared to similar agencies in other states. The KERD has remained the most robust, the most vibrant, the most functional. You go to other states, you don't see similar organizations functioning as the KERD is doing in Kano. And I'm saying it as a personal knowledge, but I'm also saying it as an acknowledgement by the NERDC that it acknowledges the functionality of the KERD. That is why I felt that we must come to interface with you. And our coming is essentially for the purpose of strengthening the working relationship between the KERD and the NERDC office that is here. I know with your support, we can get a lot of our things pushed, and not just pushed, but also adopted for the purposes of use. I'm glad that when we were having an informal discussion, the director was asking about when the new curriculum would come, and that the KERD in particular and Kano State Ministry of Education in general have been waiting for the new curriculum. That is gladdening to me, because it tells me that, okay, please, we are just waiting. Bring it, we will use it. That is an assurance, isn't it? So I'm glad actually to hear that. But I would want to tell you that we have completed the review of the 9-year basic education curriculum. This was done since last year. And we have also completed the developing of the teacher's guide. You know, every curriculum must go with teacher's guide. Yes. You have to have the teacher's guide to have it implemented fully, properly, and effectively. So the teacher's guide has been completed. We have also completed the review of the senior secondary school curriculum, and we are now embarking on developing its teacher's guide, which is going to be completed within the next month, that is August. The target of the Federal Ministry of Education is that this new curriculum is going to be launched and to be implemented is going to start in September, when the new session is going to begin. But we're just doing some little adjustments and you know, modification and standardization. As you are aware, the present government at the federal level has pronounced the changing of the, what is it, the basic year education from 934 to 12-4. And for these purposes, there has to be some adjustments in the curriculum and also some other forms of standardization, which are all working assiduously in synergy with the Federal Ministry of Education to ensure that these things are done and completed before September, when the new session is going to begin. So I want to assure you that inshallah, before the new session, these things will be ready. The 9-year basic is fully completed, except for just the few adjustments that have been done. We can go to the press even now to get it produced. So I'm assuring you that it's going to come. And by implication, if it comes, as usual, it will come with the recommended list of recommended books which state government will be required to procure for the purpose of use in their schools. So thank you so much, and I want to use this opportunity to appreciate the fact that the KERD actually recognizes the importance of the NERDC as the think tank of Nigerian education, as the one that has primarily and solely the mandate of developing curriculum for the country. I want to especially state that since I came in, it was only from Kano State that we received a complaint about the fact that there are schools out there, private schools, that are not using the NERDC curriculum. What should we do? The two gentlemen here contacted us, and the Director, Curriculum Development Center, also spoke with them and explained to them. And of course, while it is mandatory that all schools must use our own curriculum, but then the only snag is that there are no sanctions that are provided there with which to use to punish defaulters. And as you can see, NERDC was created since 1988, 37 years ago. When Nigeria was not as complex as it is today. And now the need for reviewing and amending the decree or the act that formed the NERDC, so that some aspects of this thing will be strengthened to empower the NERDC, and by implication, the KERD and organization at the state level with legal instruments that would be used to punish people that are schools that are defaulting, so that ours will not just be like walking in disarray, tachibarakate in Hausa, it will not be that kind of thing will not be allowed, because we have to work towards, having a uniform approach to the education, so that we ensure that all schools and all students, our children, are taught one and the same thing, and the values that we cherish are the ones that are being imparted in the schools, and so on and so forth. So thank you so much. I wish to use this opportunity to further, encourage and request the NERDC to continue to work with us closely, and we will give all the necessary supporting hands you would need to ensure that you succeed in carrying out your mandate also at the state level. Thank you so much. Before I sit down, I will allow the Director, Curriculum Development Center to say a few things that will shed more light, because he is directly involved in issues of curriculum. Thank you so much.
Northwest Zonal Office, located here in Kano. My other colleagues, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a very happy moment that the Executive Secretary really is paying this courtesy visit to KERDC Kano here. And though, like he has said, it is primarily very important that this is the first visit outside NERDC to any zonal office, and also to any resource department in the country. And in fact, is coming to what he described as the best in the country. And therefore, it's no mistake that we are visiting Kano for the first time, because KERDC too is a primary leading agency when it comes to education, resource and development in Nigeria. So we are at the right place. I would want to further appreciate also the tenure of the Executive Secretary having assumed office, trying to give the NERDC a new clear direction, and which was really what propelled this visit to come and interact and interface with, agencies that would help us deliver in our mandate, so as to push forward, the education sector in Nigeria, especially now in Kano State, because of the drive to move education forward. The Executive Secretary really had mentioned our mandate, especially as it relates to the issue of the curriculum. The curriculum is coming on, though, like he has explained, But curriculum review, they come with their new innovations. I'm happy the director was mentioning, in our discussion before the formal commencement of this interface of, the issue of innovations. The curriculum is a new curriculum based on new innovation. And this is part of the drive in NERDC as the regional center for curriculum excellence in Africa to push forward the frontiers of curriculum development. What we are adopting now is a competency and outcome-based approach. In fact, we are going ahead of other countries because we are even adopting the post-competency approach that is knowledge-based, competency-based, hands-on with focal competencies on 21st century skills. So there's a lot that will go into it. So it's just to inform us that, yes, KERDC is very much, even very proactive, that when we arrived, we were confronted with so many questions that are really a clear indication of really the readiness with which KERD would accept this curriculum. It is a new one, and by this also, it means then that there's going to be training, teacher training, and I think the ES has insisted on this for us to be able to partner with states in terms of teacher training, because the curriculum really would not be implemented without the teachers being trained into it and what have you. And I think KERD and NERDC will go a long way in doing this. And the issue of textbook also has been raised. Part of what would influence really the content of our learning materials is the new curriculum, because they would have to align with the curriculum. And in doing this, it means then that in the selection process, textbooks would have to be in agreement, in harmony with the curriculum, with the contents of the curriculum. So in the selection process, NERDC is charged with the responsibility of assessing text materials that align with this. But then the states, especially the KERD, we know, they play a key role in selecting materials when it comes to really the relevant ones that will align with the curriculum. So there is high expectation as it comes to this, but I know the ES is always ready to push this forward too when it comes to the issue of assessment. So another important area that is, I think, a point of convergence between NERDC and KERD is the issue of the nursing. Maybe the director would, and then this would know. So this is another key point of convergence, where we rally around to talk on issues that relate to development of education, especially as it relates to research and development. And I think the ES also is very keen at pushing this, because he is ready to revive this in such a way that we have this network really functional. And I think these are some of the things that I believe KERD would be looking forward to having good partnership. We have somebody, a leader that is disposed to this, and I know the sky is the limit. And in as much as there is the move here towards educational recovery, I think NERDC is a good partner. Thank you very much for the time.
The executive secretaries, the directors, and the media, and the rest of our people, I welcome you all for this special sitting. I'm very much happy with this special visit, because it is one of the people that we have seen with all our happiness to see them close to us, to see them ready to go with us. So KERD is a key place with a lot of personal people that they can handle the issues of curriculum. Anything to do with curriculum in Kano State is KERD. And we are always looking forward to see that we have somebody, or we have some institute that can be able to support us. So thank you very much for this visit, and inshallah we are going to maintain a good partnership with you. Thank you very much.
Rahman Rahim, Director KERD, Executive Secretary NERDC, Director Curriculum Development NERDC, and Director Northwest zonal office of NERDC, other distinguished colleagues, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I am highly delighted with this visit because we have been looking for an opportunity to interact with the NERDC, and thank God this is it, we have it now. Since our assumption to this office of curriculum section of this department, that was in late December last year, we have been looking for an opportunity to meet the NERDC, and thank God we have the opportunity now. We are aware of the new curriculum that is in the pipeline, and schools, private and public schools alike, are always confronting us with questions with regards to this new curriculum. We always told them to exercise patience, as we are trying as much as possible to keep in contact with the NERDC to find out what is going on, or at what level are we. And thank God the Executive Secretary has already explained everything to us, and we are satisfied with the explanation. The only thing is I want to ask, or I want to add here is, I think as partners in curriculum development, before the curriculum come into effect, I think there is need for us to have a sort of either workshop or training, because any school or individual that has any question regarding the curriculum in Kano State is coming directly to us. So I think it is good for us to have first-hand information about the new curriculum before it is released. That is one. And I hope the new curriculum will contain also the period allocation and the subject groupings for each category. Then, okay. And the last thing I will okay. And the last thing I would want to ask or say is, I think you have already said, talk about it, that is the issue of schools offering foreign curriculum. Now, sometimes we go to schools for inspection and they will tell us that we are not offering Nigerian curriculum. It's Cambridge curriculum. So, and other schools will tell us that we are operating the two curriculum concurrently. So we operate Nigerian curriculum together with a foreign country curriculum. So we always want to, at times from the beginning, before we contacted Professor Gandu from the beginning, we don't know even what to tell them. But when Professor Gandu explained to us, now we have the courage, we have the gut to explain to them what we have. So that is my take. Thank you very much.
My point is related to the time allocated to each period. We'll be very happy if, for example, the NERDC will make it clear for the time to be allocated for each period in secondary school, that is either junior secondary school or senior secondary school for teaching. Is it standard 35 minutes? Is it 40 minutes? Are you clear? So that we have a standard time in every school, because we find it very difficult. Sometimes you may find out some school operate 30 minutes, some 35 minutes, some 40 minutes. So if you have a standard, that is the time you keep as a standard time. So we want it in such a way that we can, let's say, for example, put it in place in such most of the schools, either private school or government school in Kano State will adopt it. So that is my.
And in relation to this, we have some peculiarity in Kano State. There are schools that operate morning and afternoon shifts. So at times you find
now it is a morning.
Okay, it's morning or
okay.
Before we design the curriculum, we take into cognizance you know, the aspect of timetable, especially as it relates to the subjects, because some subjects are given more periods on the timetable, and some are not. For example, English and mathematics, they are always given the higher number of periods, and it cut across from basic to senior secondary. Then the issue of timing usually is 30-40 minutes. 40 for senior secondary, 30 for primary. Sometimes some would want to alter it 35-40, but it's already contained even in the National Policy on Education. So that is clearly prescribed. So, and when it comes to the really curriculum, we take into consideration what we believe can be easily implementable within the period, because we know what is the weeks that are obtainable within the first term, second term, and what have you, starting from, you know, 6, 7, depending on the number, 12, 13 weeks and all that it takes. And this is how we worked out that. But then apart from that, sometimes it's the classroom situation and the context that you happen to find yourself that will determine how you come up with that timetable. Because nobody will come and design your timetable for you. You that is within the system and then in the school will be able to now look in between what is officially provided and then what is the environment, the context that you happen to find yourself. Then you work out that, and then also putting into consideration the number of subjects. If it's a senior secondary, then it's much more even easier, because those ones, there's some aspect of specialization into the different fields. It is only at basic that they would have to do everything. So really, this is it. Then the issue of training. After the review of curriculum, any cycle, usually it is followed by training. And which I think the ES even mentioned, alluded to that's the essence of even having the teacher's guide. Because we can't just go into the classroom or introduce the curriculum without that. So the training is very important. But then how do we train? At our own level, what we normally do is after each, we do a general training, then awareness campaign and what you, but then at state level, states engage NERDC. Likely you have the zonal office here. They engage the headquarters, they will come and train the teachers. It depends on how you want it. Either train the teachers or you go around the senatorial zones. This is what some states do. But depending on what is, but then the training would be a specialized training. It normally takes a whole week. We treat so many aspects of it. The curriculum itself, introduction to the curriculum, teaching instructional strategies, assessment, resources, so many other things that will go into it. So this is what, so it depends on how now KERD will now approach NERDC to come and give a full-blown training, not the general one that we do in all states. Those ones we do it on zonal basis. For example, we say North, West, we come and do it. But then for it to go deep into the school system, states normally come to us, we organize this. So this is a point of partnership too. So I think this is the, these are the few remarks that I will make, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.